we describe ourselves as independent. We have about 13, at the last count, different funders. And we think about this quite a lot. I think in this industry, the not-for-profit industry, there's a lot of hand-wringing about what impact funders have upon journalism. But the facts of the matter are that it is very rare to be able to find an independent media. Media has always had levels of influence, whether it is that a paper has taken a political stance, so they're anti-Brexit or pro-Brexit, or they're left-leaning or right-leaning, there is influence there. There is the advertising model. There are the newspaper industry across the world, and in many countries also broadcast media is majority owned by press barons or individuals who own these organisations in part because they make a profit, but also because they want to be in the media and they recognise that the media can have influence. And this is particularly true in the Global South. So I think the idea that there is an independent media is a bit of a myth for a start. And the other fact of the matter is that we are currently in a crisis of news and information. We have an industry, particularly in the more developed world, where the media industry, the commercial model, no longer works. I mean, actually, in countries like India, the media is doing quite well. It's a growing industry, but in the UK, in wider Europe, and certainly in America, this model is completely collapsing. We also have a crisis of trust, and we also have a massive proliferation of supposed news sites, information. And we, as an industry, we have to sort this out. It is our industry. It's our industry to sort out, and it is our industry to save. And it's all very well putting our hands up and going, oh, this is such a crisis, we need some help, government, please help us. We, in the industry, we have to save this industry. We have to come up with ways to move forward. And my suggestion is that the philanthropic, not-for-profit model is not a silver bullet, but it is certainly a stepping stone that will help us to get to a point where we can hopefully come up with a model that is more reflective of an independent media. Matt mentioned the Bristol Cable, and I agree. I think the Bristol Cable, anyone who doesn't know about Bristol Cable, it's a group in Bristol in the UK, a cooperative model whereby they have members who pay a membership and are involved in the editorial and the story decisions. And there's lots of organisations like this across Europe starting to spring up. There's a very good one in Spain that has 35,000 members. So I think that this not-for-profit model, we certainly see it in the States, where it is a thriving industry now. There's over 200 not-for-profit organisations in the States, and they are particularly having an impact at the local level where news is absolutely decimated. And if we don't sort out the problems that we have at a local level, then there will be an enormous democratic deficit across our countries. We need a bit of a staff to lean on, something to help us to get to the other side. So it's very important that we wring our hands and go, how can we ensure, as far as possible, that there is a gap between the funders and the people doing the journalism. It's very important that is at the forefront of our minds. I think it is incredibly worrying that the biggest funder of journalism in Europe is Google. I would suggest they're actually doing quite a lot of good in that space, but I would also suggest it's not right that it is Google doing it. But I don't think we can throw this model away. I think we have to embrace it. I think we need way more funders in Europe, and I think that it is a model for good, and it is a model for good in the world, but it's also a model for good in the media.